Now, you would have to ask yourself a question. Why does the government have a legal department? You only need a lawyer if you are guilty. Innocent people don't need lawyers. And so the only thing that makes you guilty is you showing up claiming that public title. Putting, by consent, your given name in there. They don't have the right to it, but the problem is when the movie is already playing and you've already got yourself caught up in the system, operating all the things that are evidence proving that you're trespassing, which means having a license, acting as a surety for the certificate, which gets you all the other things, placing your picture, which shows your private consent, and then literally putting your signature down, well, then you're authorizing the very thing that's harming you. It's that simple. So you can't win when you've got a driver's license in there, and you can't win when you're asking to be known as a public member with your private name attached in there. It just couldn't work otherwise for them. Now, the lawyers, as Matthew Henry said when he was commenting on Luke chapter 11 on woe unto lawyers, and it starts off on his commentary from the 1700s, the lawyers own the debt of the company. So their legal departments are there because they're absolutely responsible for the inducement of the private name, which is your God-given name, which does not belong to Caesar or the legal state, being induced onto a record to have you believe that something which is false is true. So their act of state tort makes them responsible. Is this supported by law, would be the question. Well, we know the accuser is going to get his, and so are all the lawyers, because that's the retribution coming to them from God for being liars. In scriptio, which is a definition that shows up in Black's 10th, Latin Roman law, a written accusation detailed in an official register. The accuser was liable to punishment if the accused was acquitted. Well, what's interesting on the Ontario versions, and I'm saying don't worry if you don't have this, you still have the exit strategy to get out. We're going to show you to do that. The key thing about this record is they made the accusation because they placed on the record something that didn't belong to them so they could create an accusation. So they had the parents fill in, unknowingly, beguiled, exposing the private title of the child that does not belong to Caesar in his legal jurisdiction into a record, okay, to induce you to believe that it was required to be on there when it wasn't, and therefore being ignorant of the fact and being a child, especially the child not having an ability to consent or make choice to be involved in this, they're responsible for that child. And therefore, them being the accuser, what's interesting, the titling that was on these documents done outside the frame, outside the record, off the record, it says certified a true photostatic print of a record on file at the Office of the Registrar General, Ontario, Canada. It says certified A, and A stands out because when they say print of a record, they don't put a capital A. So A, where it says certified A true at the top, that's specifically there for a reason. So now we have to go to the law. Let's see, what did A mean in Roman law? So I am trying to read out of a current law dictionary, and a lot of lawyers go, oh, they're reading out of, Black's fourth or the third or whatever. It appears they don't even like their own law books. But anyways, the 10th is the best I could, come up with right now for the moment. And Roman law, defining what A stands for. It says an abbreviation for absolvo, written on a wooden tablet by a criminal court judge to indicate a vote for acquittal. Now, we know the child couldn't be guilty of anything, and they know there's a problem on there. So, of course, in reality, the child is acquitted. There's no possible way that they could actually bring a judgment on a child at time of birth. So, remove the given name off of there. They've got no one to accuse. And the law states where truth is, fiction of law does not exist. Fiction of law cannot harm a man. Well, certainly couldn't. So they've got a problem with the document to begin with. And there's no possible way any of this could have led to anything. And without the use of the given name on there, we know why they basically were able to produce this counterfeit token of value birth certificate that just leaves everything ambiguous and unclear. And of course, that led to the driver's license that doesn't have given name or surname, last name, or family name on it. Just a picture and a signature of you on there is enough. And then you show up to court for it. But it's based on a system that is so fraudulent in its mechanism because of the inducement to have you be tricked into something you shouldn't have been involved in. So hopefully we're getting a very, very clear picture here on what's happening. The next video, we're going to be talking about who are you going to be talking to? Who do you go to? Who are you going to converse with to remove what is private out of their public registry? We'll talk about that in the next video.